Hello, my name is Yadali Santiago, and today I will be talking about crime in America. Crime in the U.S. is inevitable and occurs quite frequently. There were significant increases in the first 6 months of 2015 than in 2014. According to CrimeInAmerica.net, the FBI reported that the number of rapes increased by 9.6%, and the number of murders increased by 6.2%, and the number of aggravated assaults increased by 2.3%, the number of robberies by 0.3%. Although the numbers decreased from 2013 to 2014, you can see the significant increase from 2014 to 2015. With the number of different types of crime there is in America, America is still attempting to combat violence and crime every day to bring these numbers back down. Some reasons people commit crimes are because of the pressures of life made by society and the world around us. Some theories include the rational choice theory. People generally act in their self-interest and make decisions to commit crime after weighing the potential risks, like including getting caught or punished, against the rewards. This is when people knowingly commit a crime and know that there's consequences that they may face but still choose to do it anyways. Another theory is social disorganization theory. A person's physical and social environments are primarily responsible for the behavioral choices that a person makes, in particular a neighborhood. Those fraying social structures is more likely to have high crime rates, such as a neighborhood that has poor schools, vacant and vandalized buildings, high unemployment, and a mix of commercial and residential property. This is someone's environment, and an example would be a child being pulled into the streets and becoming part of a gang or beginning to sell drugs. Another theory is the strain theory. Most people have similar aspirations, but they don't all have the same opportunities or abilities to achieve that. When people fail to achieve society's expectations through approved means such as hard work and delayed gratification, they may attempt to achieve success through another way, such as crime. This could be an economic factor, such as someone stealing because they can't afford something that they really need. Another theory would be the social learning theory. People develop motivation to commit crime and the skills to commit crime through the people they associate with. This could contribute to serial killers, mass murderers, or even rapists who have become obsessed with things they've experienced or took interest in when they were younger in the past, and they let them drive it mad. So another theory is a social control theory. Most people would commit crime if not for the controls that society places on individuals through institutions such as schools, work, churches, or even families. This could contribute to further high standards or pressures made and placed on someone's shoulders, such as parents who force their children to reach high levels of success that even though the child struggles. Another theory is a labeling theory. People in power decide what acts are crimes, and the act of labeling someone as a criminal is what makes him a criminal. Once a person is labeled a criminal, society takes away his opportunities, which may ultimately lead to more criminal behavior. Some people do not understand the power of labels. This is why people who typically end up in prison again after serving their sentences. The last three would be biology, genetics, and evolution. Poor diet, mental illness, and brain chemistry, and even evolutionary rewards for aggressive criminal conduct have been proposed as explanations for crime. Some types of crimes include crimes against persons, which is also known as a personal crime. Some examples include murder, aggravated assault, rape, and robbery. According to the 2014 FBI crime report, there were 1,165,383 violent crimes, and of those, 63.6% of them were aggravated assault. Another type of crime is crimes against property, or theft of property without bodily harm. Some examples include larceny, arson, auto theft, or burglary. According to the 2014 FBI crime report, there was an estimated 8,277,829 property crimes, which left financial losses up to $14.3 billion for victims. Another crime is crimes against morality, also known as victimless crimes because there is no complainant or victim. Some examples include prostitution, illegal gambling, or illegal drug use. Another type of crime is a white-collar crime, which is committed by people of high social structures who commit the crimes in the context of their occupation. Some examples include embezzling, stealing money from one's employer, inside trading, tax evasion, and other violations of income tax laws. This usually tends to bring less public concern and it is more consequential to society. It has the least amount of investigation and the least amount of prosecuted people. You hear this more prevalent in today's society, especially within the last 10 years, with more fraud crimes committed by businessmen or even Ponzi schemes. Another type of crime is organized crime. This is committed by structured groups typically involving the distribution of illegal drugs and services to others, usually related to mafia, but can refer to any group that exercises control over large illegal enterprises. Some examples include illegal gambling, prostitution, drug trade, weapons, smuggling money, or laundering money. They're usually organized along the same lines as legitimate businesses and take corporate form. There's usually one person who heads the whole business and has everyone else working under them. They control the business and control the people who work for them. Bringing drugs to the city and raising violence levels in our communities is their main focus. And they buy off corrupt officials and use graft, extortion, intimidation, and murder to get them to do with what they want and comply with all of their rules and regulations. To prevent crime, we have crime prevention. Crime prevention is a proactive approach to the problem of crime. Similar techniques are still used from the 1800s, such as securing valuables, limiting access to sensitive areas, and monitoring the activities of suspicious people. Modern crime prevention efforts aim not only to reduce crime and criminal opportunities and to lower the potential rewards of criminal activity, but to lessen the public's fear of crime. The law enforcement makes use of both the techniques and the programs. Techniques include access control, including various entryways and exits, videos, and other types of surveillance. They use theft and deterrence devices like locks, alarms, tethers, lightning, and visibility landscaping. They focus on resources that reduce specific forms of criminal threat. An example would be the Philadelphia Police Department, because they have an operation identification which is designed to discourage theft and to help recover stolen property. The program educates citizens on the importance of identifying, marking, and listing their valuable items to aid in recovery later. With this program, the police lends to help the community by giving out decals to personalize their items. Today's crime prevention depends on community involvement, education, and effective interactions between law enforcement agencies and the communities. Crime Stoppers International and Crime Stoppers USA are examples of privately owned sponsored programs. They accept tips about criminal activity, and they pass on to the appropriate law enforcement organizations to help deal with it and lessen the crime. They also try to predict crime before it even happens so that they can prevent it before it happens or occurs again in multiple ways and multiple times. Programs also target school-based crime like gang activity, drug abuse, violence, domestic abuse, identity or vehicle theft, and neighborhood crime such as public vandalism and burglary. To fight organized crime, we have an organized crime project. This project attempts to dismantle and disrupt major international and national government organized criminal enterprises. They have joint task forces with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. They employ a methodology that yields maximum impact with our limited resources. They have flexible schedules to maximize their efforts, and they pursue all targets and ties, and they reach out globally just to get their hands on these people. Even if it's a lost cause after trying to talk to people, they reach into everyone who they think even has the slightest chance of being or having any ties with the type of crime that was committed. In educating the public, we have neighborhood events to bring people together and keep other people out of trouble. They also target certain groups such as today's youth with programs such as DARE, which they teach in school to combat the war on drugs between children who get involved and start young or begin selling young. Youth programs with the Boys and Girls Club of America, where they help keep kids off the street, especially in these neighborhoods that gang violence is very typical and drug use, and it's just not a good neighborhood for children to grow up in, and it's not very healthy for them. And they also have Scared Straight programs and much more. In conclusion, law enforcement will continue to fight against and educate the future and prevent crimes by making people more aware of them and what is occurring right in front of us. It is important to be knowledgeable about these types of crimes and why people even commit crimes, just so that we can fight it in the future. Thank you.